Welcome to General Biology. In this short video, I'm going to go over how to go through the course content and give you some tips for how to be successful in an online course. So first of all, when you come into Blackboard, you're going to see some tabs here on the left-hand side, and this is going to be how you navigate through the course. Under the Announcements tab, you're going to find the announcements. Announcements will also come to your Gateway issued emails, so make sure that you check your Gateway issued email often. Typically, assignments are going to be due on Sundays, so on the Friday prior, I like to send out reminder emails telling you what's due and what you need to be working on. The virtual meeting room is to meet with me for my office hours. So I do teach predominantly online, and my office hours are going to be in Zoom. I do have some information for my office hours in your syllabus, also on in this virtual meeting room. So to join the meeting with me, you would then click on the virtual meeting room and then click on this Zoom link. So each semester I'll update this information with the current and most up-to-date Zoom link. So this is how you will access a virtual meeting with me. If you know that you want to come to my office hours, you can do that and send me an email and say, hey, I'm going to be popping in by your office hours. Otherwise, if you need to schedule a meeting with me outside of my posted office hours, we can definitely do that. You just send me an email and we can arrange something. Under the Syllabus tab, you're going to find information about the syllabus. You will note that in order to not get dropped from this course, there are 3 things you have to do. First, you have to attend one of the mandatory orientation meetings. These meetings, the schedule of these is going to be slightly different each semester, but as an example, for this semester, you will be meeting on 1/16/24 either at 9:30 a.m. or 8 p.m. So I always give a daytime and an evening option. You only have to attend one of those, so you don't have to come to both. In that orientation meeting, I acclimate you to the course, we get to meet, and I also like you guys to meet each other. So I put you in breakout rooms and you get to exchange contact information and get to know some of your classmates, because in an asynchronous online course, you don't really get to see anyone. You're taking the course online and there isn't a lot of interaction. So this is just a way to encourage some community building so that you have someone to reach out to in the course just in case you want to form a study group or something like that. So the syllabus is posted here. And you can see general information about me and how to contact me, where my office hours are. And then there's a course attendance and participation policy. So you must have reliable access to the internet in order to be successful in an online course. So make sure you read through this and acknowledge the fact that you are going to have access to the internet. You cannot keep or complete this course using a smartphone. It has to be on a laptop computer or a desktop computer, some type of computer, in order to complete all the assignments for the course. You'll notice my instructor drop policy again. So you need to attend that mandatory orientation meeting, log into the course Blackboard page, and then submit at least one assignment in Blackboard prior to the end of the first full week of the course. Then there's some information about the assignments, and I will go through those assignments when we actually get into the Blackboard. And then online course conduct, it's strictly forbidden to copy, save, write down, print out, or distribute any online quizzes or exams for this course, and tells you what will happen as a result of you not complying with that. Key dates are going to be different depending on what section of the course you're in, so you can take a look at the key dates. But then the general course schedule is going to be pretty similar. So in a typical online 14-week course, you're going to have 2 weeks to complete each module. There is some pre-work that has to be done, and the pre-work is designed to get you access to the virtual labs, to get you acclimated to the course and syllabus, and get you acclimated to using Respondus Lockdown Browser, because that is going to be required for the final exam. So those types of activities are due by midnight on the first day of class. So it says before 1/16 because you definitely want to start it before 1/16. But the first day of class for this section is 1/16, and you want to get that done before that date. Remember, your syllabus for your class is going to have the actual dates, so you want to make sure you look at your own syllabus when reflecting on the dates. Then you can see for each module, you'll get 2 weeks to complete, and these correspond to the exact order that's present in Blackboard. At the very end, it'll give you a warning of when the class ends. So students tend to get used to submitting everything on Sundays. Well, for the most part, our online courses never end on a Sunday. So I just give a heads up when the course is ending, and I also post some announcements in Blackboard and so forth. So that's the basics of the syllabus. Textbook information is presented here. So I do give you access for free to the textbook. The textbook is through OpenStax, but you do have to purchase access to the virtual labs. So the virtual labs are through McGraw-Hill, and they're virtual lab simulators that allow you to click through the experiments, move equipment around, and answer questions in order to complete the lab activities. This is worth 25% of your final grade. So you want to make sure that you complete those labs, and I will be keeping an eye on the grade book. You want to keep up with those each week. Now, although all of the labs have the end of the semester date that they're due, you definitely should be completing the labs as you progress through the course. You should not wait until the very last day to complete the labs. About your instructor, if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can check that out. And then we get to the learning modules. So to begin with, there's just some background information, and then our first module starts with the pre-work module. In the pre-work module, you're going to see what you have to do, and then all of those items are written in order. So step 1 was to watch this video, then to review the course syllabus, purchase Connect Access, complete the first lab, download Respondus Monitor. Respondus Monitor, once you download it, it will be a new icon on your computer. So a lot of students download it and then they go to a regular internet browser to try to get to Blackboard and get to the test. And at that time, this Respondus verification quiz, it's going to ask you for a password. That means that you've done it incorrectly. What Respondus Monitor is, it's a whole new web browser. So this browser will close all your other browsers out on your computer and prohibit you from Googling answers or looking up stuff or using AI when you are going through your tests. So when you download this, you're going to see a brand new icon, and that is the icon you're going to use to access the internet. You're going to use that as its own browser, and you're going to click, click, click until you get to Blackboard, navigate there just like you normally would, and then once you start the test, it will lock down all other browsers that are open on your computer. This is the test. It's basically a one-question test that says, can you or do you understand that you have to use Respondus for the final? I like to have students practice this up front at the beginning of the course so that if there are issues with Respondus with your particular device, we can troubleshoot those together before you get to the final exam. Because all too many times students don't do this and don't try it out, and then they get to the final and they're not successful. And on the final, that's a high stakes exam. So we want to make sure that you can be successful in that final exam using Respondus Lockdown. Then there's a laboratory safety training. This is a course competency, so we do have to cover laboratory safety even though you're taking this course in an online environment. And then the training for online science courses. This is going to give you some more tips of how to be successful in an online science course. Going back to learning modules, we can look at Module 1. Every module is structured in a very similar way. There's an introductory video, and then there's a to-do list, so it shows you which assignments are due. There's a study guide, the lectures, and the lectures, you'll see the PowerPoint for the lectures, and then the videos are me talking over the PowerPoint. There are some supplemental videos, and they're just that. They are extra videos that you don't have to watch, but you probably should to get a better idea of the concepts that we're talking about in the lectures. So there is a part 1 and a part 2 because each module is broken down into 2 weeks. So you get the full 2 weeks to cover all of the module content, but typically in an in-person class, we would cover Module 1 during week 1, Part 1 during week 1, Part 2 during week 2 of that module. So keep that in mind. You can structure this out however you'd like, but that's something that you definitely want to take a look at. So then going back to the module here, all your lectures are in that one folder with the PowerPoints provided. Then this is a link to the textbook. So this will link you out to the chapter in the textbook that you can read directly online. So you can scroll through it, you can search the book for different topics, and then you can read each one of the components of the textbook. So textbook chapter 1 links you to chapter 1, and then there's some chapter 1 graded questions. So these questions are based on the content that you read in chapter 1. For the next topic, we have chapters 2 and 3 graded questions, which correspond to textbook chapters 2 and 3. There are some Quizlets available, which are pre-made flashcards that will allow you to practice the terms. So here you can see the flashcards are available, and it will allow you to view the flashcards, do some learning with them, create a test, match, and then QChat. If you're interested, you can play around with all of these different functions. But I typically just look at the flashcards. So the study, looking at biology, biology is the study of life. Going to the next one, class is a group of similar orders. So these terms are what you're going to be tested on in that module. And there's 2 parts to the Quizlet, because again, part 1 is covered during week 1 typically, and part 2 is covered during week 2. For the lab assignments, even though, like I said, the due date is listed at the end of the semester, you should be working on all of these lab assignments in order. So for the first module, you have labs 2 through 6 that are due. You will click on this, it will take you to McGraw-Hill, and then you can either purchase access directly through McGraw-Hill, or if you have already bought access through the bookstore, then you'll be able to type in your code. When accessing the labs, you definitely want to start by clicking on the lab assignment instead of going directly to McGraw-Hill. You'll create an account at McGraw-Hill, you'll enter in your payment information or the code that you've purchased through the bookstore, and then you'll be able to navigate through all of the labs. And then at the end of each module is a test. So you'll see how many questions, how long you have to take it, and how many attempts you have to take the test. And like I mentioned, every module is going to be very similar. 2 weeks per module. If we go to the very next module, you'll see there's that introductory video, a to-do list, study guide, the lectures, textbook questions, some Quizlets to help you study, the lab assignments, and then the test. In the very last module, Module 7, you're still going to see the study guide, lecture videos, the chapter about plants, then the chapter about animals, the Quizlets. Then there's a couple lab assignments, one related to plants, one related to animals, and then the test. So the test requires Respondus Lockdown Browser. You do not have to take a Module 7 test. Instead, you're going to complete the final exam. The final exam is cumulative, so it covers everything from the first module all the way through Module 7. So some of the questions will be familiar, some of the questions are brand new based on the content that you learned in Module 7. You do have to use Respondus Lockdown Browser, so you can't just click on this test from a standard browser. You would click on that Respondus Lockdown icon to navigate through the internet to get to Blackboard through Respondus. Then you can click to take the test. A few other things here. My Grades will give you your current grade in the course, so at any point you can check that. I typically do all of my grading on Mondays, so that's when you're going to see the most activity in the grade book. Email through Blackboard. If you need to contact me or anyone in the class, you can do so by selecting one of these options. So if you want to email the instructor users, you can email me by clicking on that one. Or you can click on single or select users, and that will allow you to select certain people from the group. So let's say during your orientation meeting on week 1, you meet someone and you forgot their contact information, or you lost it. You will be able to select them from the list and send an email directly to them, and it will only go to them. Student Resources gives you some additional resources to be successful in the class and at Gateway. And then Diversity and Inclusion gives you some resources for increasing diversity and inclusion in the sciences particularly. It also has organizations that you can join if you're interested in being a scientist eventually, or if that's what you're going to school for. So you can take a look at that if you're interested. If you have any questions about the course, you can feel free to email me, duttonn@gtc.edu. I am Dr. Dutton, and I'm looking forward to a great semester with you. Thank you very much.